In the old days, you got a job based on your reputation, your competence, and your experience. These days, that may not be enough. Last year, about 2 million job applicants were also required to provide tangible proof of their honesty by taking a lie detector test before they were hired. The problem, critics say, is that a person who worries about being very precise can fail the test, while a practiced liar might have no problem passing. In a moment, with the aid of a hidden camera, we'll let you watch some lie detector tests in progress. You decide for yourself if there really is a machine that can separate the good eggs from the bad.
Truth.
I'm convinced that machine or that instrument is a reliable investigative tool that can help you identify the innocent person.
Larry Talley is vice president of the American Polygraph Association. The polygraph can tell the difference between an innocent person and a person deceiving.
85 to 95% of the time, yeah.
Were you born in the United States?
Yeah.
Did you tell me the complete truth in your job application?
Yes.
Have you lied to me on
Doug
any of these
Williams, a
questions?
former police sergeant and polygrapher, has performed more than 6,000 tests. He showed us what the machine does. It measures changes in sweat through electrodes attached to the fingers, changes in heart rate and blood pressure through a cuff on the arm, and changes in breathing through 2 monitors on the chest. Theoretically, when you lie, the tension in your body causes the lines on the chart to jump.
Down. This is your sweat activity here. This is your blood pressure. This is your chest and stomach breathing.
He knows as much about lie detector tests as anyone, and he says they don't work.
I can watch you breathe, I can watch 2 fingers sweat, and I can watch your heartbeat. How can I presume to say that I can tell whether you've lied?
So, can a lie detector tell whether someone is innocent or lying? We went to a CBS-owned magazine, Popular Photography, to help us find out. 60 Minutes researcher Janet Tobias posed as the personnel assistant for the magazine. She called polygraph companies and told them a Nikon camera and lens had been stolen, and that she needed their services to help find the thief. In fact, no camera had been taken, but 4 Popular Photography employees, aware of what we were up to, agreed to take lie detector tests. Julia, an editorial secretary, Bob, a part-time secretary who also sings in a rock band, Lorraine, who is a production editor, and Paul, who helps put together the proof pages for the magazine. Their only assignment was to tell the truth. In fact, we offered them an incentive, $50 to tell the truth and pass the test. For the test, we set up a special room. This room, which looks like an ordinary photography studio, but we put special pipes in the ceiling to conceal our microphones. And we hung 2 posters on the wall, and we cut holes in them and covered the holes with a special photographic gel, the kind that cameras can shoot through. Our cameras took pictures through the holes in the wall here in the room next door, while in this room we monitored what was going on while the tests were taking place. For 2 hours, Kevin Cassidy of Spartan Security Services tested Julia and then Lorraine.
Last week, did you steal that Nikon 2000 camera and zoom lens from the equipment?
No.
He said neither of them had stolen the camera. But earlier, when Cassidy first arrived, we had given him a tip. We told him the thief might be Paul. Paul didn't know that we had implicated him. And remember, no camera had been taken.
Last week, did you steal that Nikon 2000 camera and zoom lens from the equipment room? No. You had any trouble with the local?
He told Paul, "You come up very shy as far as truthfulness goes." He even filed a report which said that on key questions like, "Did you steal that Nikon 2000 camera and Nikkor zoom lens from the equipment room?" quote, "It is felt that the subject was deceptive." So our first polygrapher concluded that Paul had taken the camera. Our second polygrapher was Joe Diaz from Intelligence Services Incorporated. This time, we said we thought Bob just might be the thief.
Did you steal that Nikon 2000 and zoom lens that was discovered missing last Thursday?
No.
And sure enough, while Paul passed easily this time, Joe Diaz said that Bob was deceptive, even though no camera had been taken.
According to this, you didn't do too good.
I was telling the truth.
From my experience, what I see right here, I know I'm right on the money. Ain't no question about that.
Your lines are showing you one thing, but I'm telling you something different. So, I don't care if your lines are off the page. I didn't take a camera.
Joe Diaz called in our Janet Tobias and the managing editor of the magazine to discuss the results.
Okay, you cannot fire a person on the polygraph alone. Okay?
Diaz warned that to fire Bob solely because of the lie detector could result in a lawsuit, so they should look for other reasons.
And I told him, hey, I'm 100% sure you got the camera. He wouldn't even look at me straight in the eye.
When Ed Sullivan from Sterling Polygraph Systems came in to test our 4 people, we told him something entirely different. We told him we thought Lorraine might have taken the camera.
You steal a missing camera from popular photo?
No.
Ed Sullivan passed Paul and Bob, the 2 who had failed before, and indeed his candidate for deception was Lorraine.
Are you telling me that, wait, let me ask you a question. Are you telling me I failed, or are you telling me I didn't do well? Because,
Right now I would say
failing and not doing well are
Right
two
now I would
things.
say you failed.
I failed the test.
We asked the 3 companies who supplied our polygraphers to come in and talk with us about polygraphs. Only one, William Greenblatt of Sterling Polygraph Systems, accepted our offer. At the beginning of our conversation, he insisted that polygraphs protect the innocent.
It's a scientific instrument that measures your galvanic skin response, your cardiovascular system, and your upper and lower respiratory tract. There is no person on earth who can deceive the instrument because all it is doing is measuring your responses.
You're saying then that a good operator can tell the difference between simple nervousness and deceptive nervousness?
That is absolutely correct. Nervousness has absolutely nothing to do with the examination. Everybody that comes to take a polygraph examination is nervous.
Then we told Mr. Greenblatt his polygrapher had found an innocent person deceptive.
The polygraph test is not a game, and it's not a toy.
But either it works or it doesn't work.
Well, that's not true. Either a car works or it doesn't work. Sometimes it works and it breaks down and needs to be repaired.
Is that what happened here? It broke down?
No, I do not think so. I think that the tests were administered in an improper setting in an improper manner. And this is not what polygraph is made for.
Do you think it's just a coincidence that your examiner happened to find the person deceptive that we, going in, said this may be the person who did it?
Perhaps, because we are conducting an investigation. We are using a tool to conduct an investigation for a company.
But what's to explain that? Isn't that sort of odd, that
No.
the one person is the one that he happens to find deceptive?
It shouldn't be. You should utilize the polygraph charts and show exactly what has occurred. And we reviewed those charts. He was not the only person to review those charts. 2 other people in the office reviewed those charts.
So you made the mistakes, too?
We came back. That is correct. If a mistake was made, I made the mistakes, too.
We also asked Larry Talley of the Polygraph Association how all 3 polygraphers came up with 3 wrong answers.
You're saying we just got
3 people who made 3 mistakes?
No, you have gotten 3 people that have given you 3 different opinions about different individuals to a mock situation where, in reality, there is no fear of detection. There is no fear of detection because, if anything, it's a gain to those people.
If anything, they should have come up even more innocent than normal because there was no deception to worry about.
Well, I wouldn't say that because the people that are taking the test certainly knew beforehand the purpose they were there, to try to
But how did they
deceive
come up
the polygraph
deceptive?
people.
How did they come up deceptive? Last week, did you steal that Nikon 2000 camera and Nikkor zoom lens from the equipment room? How did they come up deceptive on a question like that?
Apparently, the examiner in those cases made an error.
You mean to tell me that in a random selection of 3 polygraph examiners, we came up with 3 lemons?
Well, that's what you're saying.
What does that
I'm
say
not
about
saying
your
you came
industry?
up with 3 bad examiners. It's saying that our industry, as we have tried to state a case for, does need more regulation. And that the test results here again should not be the sole criteria on making decisions about a person's livelihood, their job.
When you're confronted with a stimulus, any kind of threatening question, fearful setting, will cause a nervousness, will cause the exact same reaction that a polygraph would brand as a lie. Your fingers start to sweat, your breathing becomes erratic, and your heartbeat increases.
William says if you know what to watch for and how to control your muscles, you can manipulate the readings and show whatever you want.
There's not a thing on that chart that you haven't got absolute control over.
But these people at the photo magazine weren't trying to control anything. They were trying to tell the truth.
What's one word to describe this experience?
Enlightening.
Intimidating.
Scary.
It's just that you're strapped to this machine, and I heard the thing moving, and the more I heard it, the more nervous I became. The more nervous I became, the more I heard it scratching. And there was a definite something in the intonation of his voice that he's very demeaning and very demoralizing, and, you know, did you take it? And I know you're a liar, basically.
I was told afterwards by the editor of the magazine that he'd approached the editor and said that he was 100% sure. 100% sure. I mean, not even 99, but that I was the one that took the camera.
He said you should be fired.
He did. Wow.
Based on that
I'd be on the street right now looking for a job.
In March, the House of Representatives voted to prohibit the use of lie detectors by most businesses. This week, a Senate committee will decide if they should be banned completely in the private sector. Meanwhile, the administration continues to try to expand the use of polygraphs in matters of national security.